poor girl missed exam to save a Hell's Angel biker. Next day, 100 Hell's Angels arrived at her door. The morning Maya's life changed forever was supposed to be the most important day of her future. She woke before sunrise, her stomach tight with nerves, her hands trembling as she packed her worn-out backpack. It was exam day, the scholarship exam that could pull her out of poverty, lift her mother from years of struggle, and prove to every voice that once mocked her that dreams didn't belong only to the rich. But fate had other plans, hidden in the roar of engines and the screech of metal that echoed through the alley as she rushed toward the bus stop. She didn't understand what she was hearing at first. It wasn't until she saw a motorcycle toppled over, a man bleeding against a wooden fence, and a crowd scattered in shock that she realized her entire life was about to be rewritten. If you believe kindness and second chances still matter in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps these powerful stories reach more hearts. Maya froze at the sight of the wounded biker. He wore a torn black leather vest, his arms inked with tattoos, blood dripping from his brow. People stood around but kept their distance, whispering, avoiding involvement like the problem might disappear if no one touched it. He looked up at her, dazed, breath shallow, as if silently begging for help without the ability to speak. She didn't know who he was. She didn't know what had happened. All she knew was that no one else was stepping forward, and the longer she hesitated, the more his life bled into the dust. Her exam was starting in less than an hour. Missing it meant losing the scholarship she had worked for all year. Missing it meant her mother's tears, her father's disappointment from beyond the grave, and a future that snapped like a thin branch under weight. But Maya couldn't walk away. Her conscience wouldn't let her. She knelt beside the stranger and tore a strip from her scarf to press against his wounds. His breathing grew ragged, and his hand shook as he tried to grip hers. She whispered reassurance even though she was terrified. The crowd murmured as whispers spread, "He's one of the Hell's Angels. Stay away. It's trouble." But Maya didn't care about the patches on his vest or the rumors that surrounded bikers like shadows. She didn't see danger, she saw a human being who would die unless someone acted fast. She called the ambulance, but they said it would take time. Traffic was bad. She couldn't wait. So she made a decision that would cost her everything she'd been working for. She flagged a passing truck, begged the driver until he agreed, and climbed into the back with the injured biker cradled against her lap. She held his head steady as the truck bumped along the road, whispering encouragement as if her voice alone could keep him conscious. By the time they reached the hospital, Maya's clothes were soaked in his blood. She filled out forms, talked to nurses, and stayed long enough to make sure he wasn't dying. But when she checked the time, she felt her stomach collapse. The exam was over. The chance was gone. The scholarship she needed to escape her life was nothing more than a memory now. She walked home under the weight of failure, each step heavier than the last. She didn't regret helping him, not truly, but the pain of the sacrifice felt like a knife lodged inside her. Her mother didn't yell. She just sat quietly on the edge of the bed, holding her daughter's trembling hands, letting her cry out everything she had been holding inside. The next morning, Maya woke to the rumble of engines. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. The sound shook the walls like thunder rolling through the street. She rushed to the window, fearing trouble, and her breath caught in her throat. Rows upon rows of motorcycles stretched as far as she could see, gleaming beneath the sun like a metal army. Leather-clad bikers filled the street, standing in formation. At the front of the line, wearing a clean bandage across his forehead and leaning on a cane, stood the man she had saved. Her heart pounded as she opened the door. Every biker turned toward her. For a moment, the world fell silent, the air thick with a tension that could have turned into fear, but the injured man stepped forward and gave her a grateful nod so gentle it felt almost impossible coming from someone who looked carved from iron. He explained, voice still hoarse, that her bravery and kindness had saved his life. That most people saw bikers as trouble, as monsters, as problems, but she had seen a dying man instead of a stereotype. He said he owed her a debt that could never be repaid, but he would try anyway. Then he told her something that made Maya gasp. He and his brothers had visited the school. They had spoken to the headmaster, explained what she had done, and ensured that Maya would get another chance to take her scholarship exam. They even brought official letters confirming the exam board had approved a retake. And more than that, the biker community had collected funds to support her education. When he handed her the envelope, her hands shook as she felt the weight of hundreds of strangers believing in her. Enough money for tuition, supplies, and transportation. Enough to change her entire life. Her mother stood behind her, tears streaming down her cheeks as the bikers raised their fists in a silent salute. Maya couldn't speak. She felt her throat tighten, her eyes burn, her chest fill with warmth she didn't know how to contain. The man she saved stepped closer and told her that in their world, loyalty and gratitude meant everything. When someone risked their future to save a brother, the whole family stood behind her, not out of charity, but out of respect. Before riding away, he told her something she would never forget: "You gave up your future to save my life. Now we're here to give your future back." The roar of engines filled the street again as the bikers mounted their motorcycles, but this time it wasn't frightening, it was triumphant, powerful, like a promise echoing through the air. Maya clutched the envelope to her chest, overwhelmed by the realization that kindness, even when unnoticed or unrewarded at first, had the power to transform lives in ways she could never imagine. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe, and help spread the reminder that kindness still has the power to change the world. Before you go, comment below: would you have done what Maya did?